square and cube roots. Cube root of 81, 5 cubed is 125, square root of 9, and 3 squared. Start. Okay, now we're going to do squaring. It's like 4 to the second power 16. If it's second power, it's like 2 4s. So, as you see, 4 to the third power means 3 4s. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. So now another example would be 6 to the second power. Because the exponent is 2, it would be 2 6s. 6 times 6 equals 36. Okay, now it's square roots. So to find square roots, it's basically prior knowledge. Like from, you did before, like 7 times 7. You would have to find it. So if it's square root of 49, it would be 7 times 7 equals 49. So the solution is 7. Next example is square root of 81. 9 times 9 equals 81. So the solution is 9. Another one is square root of 100 equals 10 times 10 equals 100. The solution would be 10. So you'd have to use your prior knowledge. So two numbers would make the square root. Okay, now we're going to estimate square roots. This strategy is pretty complicated, but in a way easy. So first, write your number. So our number is estimating square root of 5. So first, draw a number line and find the two closest squares. The two closest squares would be square root of 4 and square root of 9. If you wanted, you could write in parentheses their exact number. For square root of 9 is 3 and square root of 4 is 2. So now you're going to have to find where square root of 5 is closest to. 5 is, of course, closer to 4, unlike 9. So you could estimate around 2. So if you estimate, it would be 2.1 or 2.2. It is a little confusing, but if you do more and more of it, you'll get the hang of it. Let's try another example. Alright, so now our other example is estimating square root of 10. So, the two closest squares would be square root of 9 and square root of 16. So, in parentheses, I put where they are. So now, square root of 10, we have to estimate where it would be. Would it be closer to square root of 9, or would it be closer to square root of 16? So, by judging our estimate, I think it would be closer to square root of 9, because 10 is closer to 9, instead of 10 being closer to 16. So, that's our estimate. So, if it's closer to square root of 9, square root of 9 equals 3. So you could estimate to be 3.1 or 3.2, because it's closer to square root of 9. It's kind of complicated, but you'll get the hang of it. So, step 1. You gotta find the two closest squares, as we did, square root of 9 and square root of 16. So if it was another number, you're gonna have to find the two closest perfect squares. Okay, step 2. You gotta make a number line. Use a number line and put the two perfect squares on it. So if it was square root of 10, put square root of 9 on one side and square root of 16 on another side. And now finally, step 3. Based on where your numbers are placed, your squares are placed, you gotta estimate. As I did, I estimated square root of 10 would be 3.2. Of course, you could test it out by yourself by multiplying 3.2 twice. And once you have your estimate, you could use a calculator to find out the real answer. But before, you have to estimate. Once you're done estimating, you could use your calculator. Don't forget to have a calculator by you. Now we're going to show you how to estimate. So, first, as I showed you, we gotta make a number line. The reason I said to solve the two square roots is because square root of 10, you gotta, is closer to square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So we know it's 3, so we gotta find out if it's 3.1, 2, or 3. We're gonna have to solve it. 3.1 times 3.1, or 3.1 squared, is 9.61. Pretty close. Now let's try 3.2 times 3.2, or 3.2 squared. 10.24. So now you have to make an estimate which one would be right. 10.24 is closer to 10 because it's 0.24 off. 9.61 is not closer to 10 because it's 0.39 off. So you'd make an estimate that 3.2 is the closest one. But that's up to you. You have to make an estimate that's the best answer. And after you're done estimating, you'll have to use a calculator to find out the real answer. Okay, now you're going to try some examples by yourself. So, I'll pause the video when we get some examples. Okay, so now you're going to have to estimate the square root of 7. So pause the video, and I'll give you the answer later. Okay, so if you did find your answer, the answer is 2.6. Well, that's an estimate, of course. So now, let's try another one. Solve the square root of 121. Pause it, and I'll tell you the answer later. Okay, so the answer of square root of 121 is 11. 11 times 11 is 121, so square root of 121 is 11.
Cube roots. So now we're going to move on to cube roots. So first of all, let's start with the definition. Cubing is to multiply a number by itself 3 times. So an example of those words would be 5 cubed equals to 5 times 5 times 5, because you're multiplying itself by 3 times, which would then equal to 125. Okay, so now we're going to start our first example. Okay, so each edge of a cube is 5 meters long. What is the volume of the cube? So now, to find the volume, we know that in the cube, we know that the length, the width, and the height are all 5 meters, as shown here. So we need to cube 5 to find out the volume. 5 cubed equals to 5 times 5 times 5, which you might already know is 125. So that is the answer. And how did we do this? We did this by, again, we cubed 5 because they asked for the volume. And that is how you can cube numbers to get the answer.